No one noticed anything unusual that day. The world moved normally, the city breathed as always, and millions of people scrolled through their phones without knowing that something strange was quietly being recorded. Nothing felt different. Nothing felt alarming. Yet, hidden inside digital storage, a story was forming piece by piece. It began with a folder that no one expected to exist. Inside it were 50 video clips, all recorded within the same 24 hours. At first glance, they looked ordinary. Short moments, random angles, casual recordings, fragments of a normal day. But when people began to watch them carefully, something felt wrong. These were not just videos. They were traces of something deeper, something that had gone unnoticed. The first clip showed morning light entering a quiet room. The camera shook slightly, as if someone had just picked up a phone. Yu Menglong appeared on screen, calm and composed, his expression gentle and familiar. He greeted someone off camera, smiled briefly, and walked away. Everything looked normal. But when the clip was replayed slowly, his smile seemed delayed, as if it was forced to appear after his eyes had already grown tired. Another video captured him walking through a crowded street. Cars passed by, people laughed, and neon lights reflected on wet pavement. He blended into the crowd, unnoticed by most people around him. Yet his steps were slow, almost hesitant. At one point, he stopped walking and stared ahead for several seconds. No one around him reacted. The moment passed like nothing happened. But later, viewers realized that pause was not ordinary. It felt like he was lost in thoughts he could not share. As more clips were reviewed, patterns began to emerge. In one recording, he sat alone in a cafe. A cup of coffee rested in front of him, untouched. He stayed at the glass window as if he was looking beyond the reflection, beyond the street, beyond the world itself. His face was calm, but his eyes carried something heavy. People around him talked, laughed, and moved freely, yet he remained still, distant from everything around him. Some of the most disturbing footage did not come from phones or fans. It came from security cameras. In one hallway recording, he walked alone under flickering lights. The corridor was long and empty. His footsteps echoed softly as he moved forward. Halfway down the hallway, he suddenly stopped. For several seconds, he did not move. Then he slowly turned his head and looked directly into the camera. The way he stared was not accidental. It felt deliberate, as if he knew someone would eventually watch this moment. There were also fragments of conversations captured unintentionally. In one clip, someone casually asked him if he was tired. He smiled slightly and answered that everyone gets tired sometimes. The words sounded simple, harmless, ordinary. But when people listened again after seeing the entire collection of videos, the sentence felt different. It sounded less like a casual reply and more like a quiet confession. In another recording, his voice could be heard saying that time moves faster than people realize. At the moment it was spoken, no one reacted. It sounded like a random thought. But later, those words echoed in the minds of everyone who watched the footage. They began to feel like messages hidden inside everyday conversations. Among all the clips, one moment haunted viewers the most. It showed him laughing. The smile was the same one fans had seen countless times on screens and stages. Warm, charming, familiar. But when the clip was slowed down, something unsettling appeared. His lips were smiling, yet his eyes were empty. For a brief moment, when the laughter faded, his face turned completely blank. No emotion, no expression, just silence. That split second felt heavier than any dramatic scene. As the videos continued, the atmosphere changed subtly. The clips became quieter. The movements became slower. The expressions became harder to read. It was as if each video carried a silent weight that no one noticed while it was being recorded. The final clip was the shortest of all, only a few seconds long. The camera angle was unclear, as if a phone had been placed on a table accidentally. Yu Menglong appeared in the frame, slightly out of focus. He looked toward the camera without smiling, without speaking. His gaze was calm but distant. For a moment, it felt like he wanted to say something but chose not to. Then he slowly looked away, and the video ended. There was no dramatic ending, no obvious tragedy, no clear explanation. Just silence. When people finished watching the 50 recovered videos, they felt something they could not easily describe. The footage did not show shocking events or extreme moments. Instead, it showed ordinary life. And that was what made it terrifying. The realization that something important could be happening right in front of everyone, yet remain invisible. Fans around the world reacted emotionally. Many said they felt chills watching the clips. Others said they wanted to cry because they saw things they had never noticed before. People began re-watching old interviews, searching for hidden meanings in every word and every expression. Suddenly, the past looked different. Moments that once felt normal now felt suspicious. Smiles that once felt warm now felt fragile. The recovered footage became more than just videos. It became a reminder. A reminder that behind fame, behind lights, behind applause, there are human emotions that cameras cannot fully capture. Sometimes, the brightest smiles hide the deepest thoughts. Sometimes, the loudest applause cannot silence inner struggles. And sometimes, the most important warnings are hidden in quiet moments no one pays attention to. In the end, the 50 videos did not reveal a single shocking secret. Instead, they revealed something more disturbing. How easy it is to miss what truly matters. How fragile ordinary moments can be. And how silence can sometimes speak louder than words. Today, those clips remain frozen in time. Not as evidence of a dramatic event, but as echoes of moments that once seemed meaningless. They are questions without answers. They are memories that feel heavier with every replay. And they are proof that sometimes, the most haunting stories are not written in chaos or noise, but in the quiet spaces between smiles and silence. Because in life, the scariest truths are not always shouted. Sometimes, they are whispered so softly that no one hears them until it is too late. After the 50 videos were revealed, people thought the story had ended. But in reality, it was only the beginning. As days passed, more people began to look deeper into the footage. Not just fans, but analysts, editors, and ordinary viewers who felt that something inside those clips didn't feel random. They replayed the videos again and again, slowing them down, zooming in, comparing moments, searching for patterns that others had overlooked. And slowly, something strange emerged. In several clips recorded hours apart, Yu Menglong appeared in different locations, yet his expressions looked eerily similar. The same distant gaze, the same brief pauses, the same quiet moments where his smile faded too quickly. It was as if time had stopped around him while the world continued to move. One detail disturbed viewers the most. In multiple videos, he was seen looking at his phone, reading something, then locking the screen without replying. His expression changed subtly each time. Not anger, not fear, just silence. A silence that felt heavy. People began to ask questions. What was he reading? Who was he talking to? And why did he never respond? The questions had no answers. Then came another discovery. In one clip, captured late at night, he stood alone on a balcony. The city lights shimmered below him like distant stars. The wind moved his hair gently. For a moment, he closed his eyes, as if listening to something no one else could hear. He opened them again and whispered something so softly that it was almost impossible to understand. When the audio was enhanced, only a few words became clear. Not everything is visible. Those words spread across the internet like fire. Some people believed it was just coincidence. Others believed it was a message. But no one could explain what it truly meant. As the story grew, the emotional weight of the footage became impossible to ignore. People realized that the videos were not shocking because of dramatic events, but because of how ordinary they were. They showed how someone could walk, talk, smile, and live normally, while carrying something invisible inside. And that realization frightened people more than any tragedy. Because it meant that anyone, anywhere, could be hiding the same silence behind a smile. The 50 videos became mirrors. Not just of Yu Menglong, but of everyone who had ever felt unheard, unseen, or misunderstood. And the most haunting part was this. If those videos had never been recovered, no one would have ever known that anything was wrong. No one would have noticed the pauses. No one would have questioned the smiles. No one would have remembered the silence. Sometimes, history is not made by loud events, but by quiet moments that only become meaningful when it is already too late. Even today, when people watch those clips, they feel the same chill. Not because they see something terrifying, but because they realize how easy it is to miss the truth when it is standing right in front of us. And somewhere between those 50 videos, between those smiles and silences, a story remains unfinished. A story that no one can fully explain. A story that may never have an answer. Because some truths are not meant to be revealed loudly. Some truths are meant to be felt. And once you feel them, you can never unsee them again.